Ethical farming. A look at what it is and some ideas for doing it. In the last few years, sustainable farming has been a hot topic. As people have become more aware of the problems with industrial agriculture and its effects on the environment, they are looking for ways to farm that are better for both people and nature. This article will explore what sustainable farming is and some ideas about how you can do it yourself. What is ethical farming? Do you know about ethical farming? It is a sustainable way of growing crops and raising animals. Sustainable agriculture refers to the practices that don't deplete natural resources like soil, water, or nutrients to produce food. The EPA defines sustainable as a system that meets human needs today without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Ethical farming is a way of producing food that involves the farmer and all people involved in the production. It includes natural pesticides and biological control agents instead of synthetic ones, which will negatively affect humans and animal health. Animal welfare means humane treatment from birth through death, including providing access to water, feed, shelter, comfortable living conditions, e.g., clean bedding, appropriate handling methods, such as gentle restraint, transportation of animals in a manner that minimizes their discomfort or injury while moving them about without harm nor undue noise, protection from environmental extremes such as weather exposure, extreme heat or cold. It also involves moral autonomy and implies on farmers to do their part to conserve natural resources and protect the environment. The first ethical farming idea is sustainable organic agriculture, an agricultural system that avoids synthetic chemical inputs, such as pesticides and fertilizers used in conventional farming practices. Instead, it emphasizes building soil health by composting animal manures, green manures, crop rotations, to avoid pest resistance, ecological control methods like predators or parasites for pests, and good water management strategies, including catchment systems for rainwater harvesting. The second idea about ethical farming is biodynamic agriculture, which was initially developed during 1924 to 1926 to respond to farmers who wanted help in understanding their role. Why should I do it? Now a question that many people wonder about is, why should I do it? If we are going to survive on this planet and make sure that all life forms have a chance at survival, we need sustainable farming. We know how to farm sustainably now, but if more don't start doing it, the world will be in big trouble. There's not just one answer as to why you should do ethical farming because there are so many reasons why you should, but here are some of them. You'll save money by growing your product with no transportation costs or excess packaging. It can lead to better quality food being available for lower prices, if done right. The soil won't become depleted since organic matter builds up over time. It's better for the environment since you're not taking out land that could be used for wildlife and polluting water sources with chemicals. You can feel good about your small contribution to preserving our planet by growing sustainable food. How to do ethical farming. If you want to know how to do ethical farming, the answer is as simple as it seems. Though there are some general guidelines and ideas for a sustainable way of doing things, answers to this question depend on your goals in terms of sustainability or how you interpret ethics. A recent study has shown that sustainability can be interpreted differently by different people. Some may see sustainability as going back to traditional ways of growing food without using pesticides because they believe that we should use sustainable methods like organic gardening with good old-fashioned hand tools, no solar panels needed. Others might think about living more sustainably in their personal life, e.g., buying local products instead of imported ones, while still eating meat from animals raised in your home country. People need to know what the definition of sustainability means, as that it will determine how and if you can do ethical farming practices. If your interpretation of sustainability includes living more sustainably in their personal life, e.g., buying local products instead of imported ones, then eating meat from animals raised in your home country may not be considered unethical but could still have negative impacts on climate change, ecosystems degradation or health problems associated with animal consumption. Challenges of doing ethical farming. Everything comes through challenges, so there are challenges to doing sustainable farming as well. Some of the common ones are that it takes time, money, and effort, but there can also be more serious consequences like health hazards or even death. Time. The resources needed for sustainable farming take a lot of time to produce optimal results. For example, if you want enough organic food, then this would require an area that is at least 10 acres long by 3 acres wide. Money. Sustainable agriculture requires significant investments from farmers, such as buying equipment and land. Effort. It's not just about making wise decisions with your farm tools. You have to work hard on these farms too. What are some ways to make ethical farming easier? One way might be using your resources more efficiently. But, unfortunately, when it comes to growing sustainable food, many things use up your resources. Health. The environment is very important to ethical farming because not only does the type of soil affect how healthy the crops are, but also the chemicals used on them can affect our health as well. Diversity. Diversity in agricultural practices will help ensure that we're using our land and water wisely. How would you describe sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture means producing or consuming products responsibly by ensuring long-term environmental quality for future generations. It involves planning to continue natural resources like soil, clean air, freshwater, and biodiversity. Why should you care about what you eat? It is a burning question why we should care about our food, what we eat daily. Indeed, it does not matter what we consume as long as we get the nutrients that our body needs. Minerals and vitamins can be found in many different types of food. Yet some foods contain more minerals than others do, such is the case with protein-dense foods like meat or eggs, where they come with significant benefits for people who want to lose weight. Other vegan sources of protein include beans, tofu, quinoa, and nuts. Yet still, why should you care about your diet if it's sustainable? Ethical farming has become one of the biggest issues when dealing with sustainable agriculture because nowadays, there are so many loopholes in this topic, due mainly to its lack of regulation on international aspects. So communities should be aware of the importance of having sustainable agriculture to provide healthy and safe food for everyone. For this reason, ethical farming can be seen as a means of ensuring that people are eating healthier, more nutritious foods that will promote not only physical health but mental well-being too. It's essential to understand what ethical farming is about before we get into why you should care about it, because many misconceptions exist around these topics, which need addressing first. What exactly defines an ethical farmer? Unfortunately, the answer isn't so straightforward. No one definition suits all farmers who employ sustainability principles or use organic methods. Consequently, when discussing ethics within agricultural practices, one must consider various factors. Where does our food come from? Ideas for starting your farm. Starting your farm is a dream for many, but it can be hard to do without money or land. Luckily, there are ideas you can use that will require little effort and no money. Share your land with other farmers. If you have some acres of fertile soil, share them with other local farmers who want space to grow crops on their own. Plant in containers and raised beds. Containers like raised beds allow small farms the opportunity to produce food even if they don't have much room. Raised beds are most commonly used in urban communities. Large pieces of outdoor farming equipment cannot access residential areas easily, so a smaller scale allows more accessibility than larger plots of farmland would. Get out there. Find volunteer opportunities at a nearby organic farm where you can learn sustainable farming practices and glean some new ideas. Get started. If you don't have much land, find a community garden where your family can grow plants in the ground or containers together. Community gardens are becoming more common as well because they help those without yards still be able to produce organic vegetables for their families. Share your land with other farmers. If you have some acres of fertile soil, share them with other local farmers who want space to grow crops on their own. Plant in containers and raised beds. Containers like raised beds allow small farms the opportunity to produce food even if they don't have much room. Raised beds are most commonly used in urban communities. How to do it without a lot of money or land. Get creative and find the space you need to grow. For example, if there are neighborhoods with empty spaces, they might get a group of people to share resources. The more land everyone has access to, the better off it will be for them because they can then rotate crops so that nothing gets overworked or depleted. If you want to do sustainable farming without a lot of money or land, this is an excellent way to do it. Some other ways people have found success with sustainable farming without a lot of money or space are using containers for gardening and aquaponics, growing plants in water. If you don't want any more work than necessary, then container gardening might be the best idea because all you need is waterproof on the outside and some trays inside where seeds can grow. You fill up your pots with dirt, plant your seeds there and wait until they start growing. Aquaponics does take more effort but can give much better results if done correctly. It's essentially like hydroponics, no soil required, but instead of relying solely on nutrients from chemical fertilizer. Hydroponics has excellent advantages if you have space because it uses less water than soil farming. Suppose you have a lot of money to invest in sustainable farming. In that case, there are many more options available for ethical farmers, like vertical gardens in urban areas that grow plants without any soil but only using hydroponic and aeroponic systems, growing plants with no dirt or just mist. Or how about this idea, a greenhouse on your roof? A greenhouse is ideal if you want to do sustainable agriculture all year long. You can control the temperature within specific ranges and use LED lights inside so they don't need as much electricity. Tips for building an organic garden. The most important organic garden tips are to have the proper soil mix. For plants to absorb nutrients, their roots need access to loose and friable soil with air circulating. So a healthy organic garden begins with good dirt. To make your compost pile, you will need manure or animal waste, chicken, cow, pig, straw leaves, fruit scraps, tree branches, grass clippings, newspaper eggshells, coffee grounds, tea bags, paper napkins, fabric items such as clothing was worn but not washed, kitchen scraps like vegetable peelings, greasy foods, etc., crumpled up newspapers, dampened cardboard, torn up old sheets, wet burlap sacking, wool blankets, plastic sheeting, wire mesh. All of this can go into an open container or heap on the ground. Steps. 1. Make or buy a compost heap. 2. Add the rotting material to it and mix well with a fork, shovel, rake, or tractor bucket. 3. Keep turning over material weekly for about 6 months while adding more wet ingredients as they accumulate. When finished, you can use your new rich soil in your garden by mixing it half and half with old dirt. This is called layering. The best way to add organic matter to any part of the garden bed is through mulching on top using straw, leaves, and grass clippings whenever possible. For planting seeds, make sure that if there are weeds around them, those should be removed first before tilling in the vegetables, so not only do these plants. Bottom line. Do ethical farming to save your life. It might sound like a radical new idea, but it's not that far-fetched. Practicing this type of farming will help you live longer and healthier lives while simultaneously reducing the number of toxic chemicals in our environment. One way to do it is by building an organic garden at home with tips from local experts on making compost bins for less money or without any land whatsoever. Another easy option is simply eating only what you grow yourself, or what someone else grows. This can be done through buying seeds, starting them indoors using natural light sources such as sunlight and artificial lights, then transplanting them outdoors when they are ready, all before harvesting time.